What is up, YouTube? It is finally here. iOS 18.1 has released to the public. So I'm going to go over the entire software update for both older and newer iPhones. So the iPhone on the left is iPhone 16 Pro Max and iPhone on the right is iPhone 14 Pro. So I'm going to show you the difference between the two when you update to iOS 18.1. And the reason being is because, of course, 18.1 introduces Apple Intelligence. So I'm just going to show you what happens when you update both phones, older and newer, to 18.1 and how to set up Apple Intelligence and where to find it and all that. So let's go ahead and get through the setup process here. Both these phones are relatively new, so you're seeing things that you should normally see when you set up your phone for the first time. In this case, it will be Siri. I haven't really used Siri much, so I'm setting up her voice and stuff now. So let's go through that process. And then I'll go over everything that changed in iOS 18.1, at least the major features for all phones, old or new. So let's go ahead and get started. So right now I'm just going to go through the prompt here. As you see, it's set up Siri. You need to do this, of course, to get the best out of Apple Intelligence, because Siri is the big change for this update, the first edition of Apple Intelligence. So go ahead and set her up and get her up and running, and then we can begin the Apple Intelligence setup. So right now I'm just doing that, selecting the voice and all that to get started with that. So let's go through this setup here. The voice has been selected, so now we're going to go to the home screen. And right away, you should notice that not much has changed, except that setting up top. This is new. So, of course, because of Apple Intelligence being integrated with the phone, you kind of want it to be unlocked at all times, essentially, if you do a request on the lock screen. So that's what that setting is there. That is new to 18.1 to help with Apple Intelligence working seamlessly. So if you have an Apple Watch, that's great. So now we're just going to go through the Apple Intelligence part. So, like, once again, the left is the new phone, the right is the old one. 14 Pro Max is not compatible with Apple Intelligence. All 16 models are. And if you notice right away, you will see that Apple Intelligence shows up in settings right next to Siri, whereas the old phone, it does not. It just says Siri. So that's all you get. You will not get any of this new stuff that's about to show up. So pretty much, I'm just showing you what Siri looks like on both. The settings haven't changed much other than the Apple Intelligence activation at the top. So on the right-hand side, you just see normal Siri. You don't even see that activation. So just showing you what to expect. And of course, Apple Intelligence is not on by default. You have to manually turn it on. So as I show you, Siri does not work right away. You have to actually turn an Apple Intelligence on. So that's what I'm going to go through now. Once again, I just show you all the settings Siri has. Not much has changed here. It's only when you turn on Apple Intelligence that you'll start to see the new changes. And once again, we'll go over all the new changes Apple Intelligence offers later in the video. So now we're just going to set it up. Now here's a big disclaimer. If you just set up the Apple Intelligence within a few days, you're going to get a join waitlist option. Don't worry, this isn't a long time or anything. It will take about 5 to 10 minutes to get activated. This is to ensure that your device is compatible and doesn't break any rules. So don't get discouraged by that waitlist. It doesn't take more than 5 minutes to actually turn on Apple Intelligence. So while we wait for that waitlist to be accepted, we're going to go over iOS 18.1 basically in its whole for all phones. So all the phones that update to it will have all these changes that I'm showing you now. This is not including any Apple Intelligence stuff. So as I show you, it's just minor things like Control Center getting more toggles for individual system functions. You get camera control additions to the 16 Pro, so that's cool. You get to switch to the selfie camera easier now. You get call recording, which is pretty useful if you want to record any phone calls you make. You can now do that. Of course, the other person will be alerted that a phone call is going to be recorded. And then, of course, if you own a Mac, you can now file transfer between phones on the computer. This wasn't available at launch. Now it is, so you can drag and drop files to and from your iPhone, from your Mac when you mirror your iPhone on your Mac. So that's awesome. So into TikTok integration, and that's basically it. There's a ton of bugs too that I'll go over as well. But this is pretty much all the big changes of iOS 18.1. So now we're going to show some of them in person. So here's the selfie camera inclusion. So on your 16 or 16 Pro, you hit the camera control, double press it lightly to activate the toggle menus, and then go to cameras, and then go all the way to the left, and you'll see the new selfie camera switch option, as you see there. Pretty cool. Whether it's useful or not, I don't know, but it is there, so that's awesome. You can now switch to the selfie camera easily. Next up, I'm going to show you the control center additions. These are just minor, but they're welcome. Like I said in the iOS 18 video, if you want to create a special page, you now have individual toggles for each system function. So before, this was in one big platter. Now you can just add the toggle yourself, as you see here, and keep it organized, and you don't have to worry about grouping them together. So if you don't want all the functions, you can just add the ones you want and create your customized page. So that's a welcome change. So I'm just showing you all the system functions that Apple added in this update. Once again, I'm just showing you that you can now file transfer from your Mac. If you iPhone mirror, you don't have to do any airdropping or anything. It'll just take it and add it to the desktop and vice versa. So, well, welcome change for sure. Next up is call recording. So if you go to the phone app and settings, you can now enable or disable call recording. And when you call someone, there's a new option you can press to initiate the call. Both parties will be alerted that a call is being recorded. So it's not too invasive per se, but of course you can disable this if you want. So I'll just showing you where it's at and how to do so. So once again, you can now record calls on any iPhone. So one of the features that Apple announced with the AirPods Pro 2 is hearing aid, and now it's here in iOS 18.1. So when you update both your AirPods and iOS to it, you will now be able to use this feature and take advantage of the hearing aid functionality that they got approved for by the government. So that is now available in iOS 18.1. So if you need it, you can now use it. So now Apple Intelligence accepted my request, and now we're going to activate it. So once you get alerted, you can go here and start activating Apple Intelligence. So as you can see here, it's the settings. This is summaries for your notifications. And of course, the big one is Siri integration. So right now we're just doing the notification summary. So you can do all of your notifications, none of them. You can decide. So I'm just going to go ahead and do them all because why not? So once you accept that, then it's going to show you the new Siri. So once you go through the prompts here, you'll be able to activate her and get all the new functions that they added. It's not much for now, but it is, of course, launching more than just what Siri can do. But for now, this is what they're showing you. So you can now type to Siri. So double tap the bottom to activate the keyboard, and you can now type to her instead of speaking. Once you do that and accept it, Apple Intelligence is now on. So I'm going to show you what happens now when you turn it on. On the right is the old Siri, and on the left is the new one with Apple Intelligence. So look what happens. And as you can see there, you hit a sound, and then you get that amazing glow around the edge, letting you know that Siri has now been updated with Apple Intelligence. So there you go. So now I'm going to do the rest of this video showcasing the Apple Intelligence and all it can do for the newer iPhones that support it. The first thing we're going to showcase for Apple Intelligence is the notification summaries. So I do my best to show you here, but you can see in some of the notifications, especially on the wallet one, how it summarizes the notification when there's multiple notifications for that app. So in the wallet, you see that it summarizes that an order was sent and then eventually delivered. And in the mail, you see a few other notifications being summarized.
What's good?
So if you like this or not, you can go to settings, notifications, and then summaries and turn it off for each app or just turn it off in general. So this is the Apple Intelligence feature that allows you to summarize all the notifications on your phone to make it easier and quicker to get through them. So that's pretty cool. So I'll just show you how to do that real quick. And then, yeah, this is all it does. It summarizes everything on your phone. Next up is the writing tool. So you can use this in any application that has text pretty much. So when you enter a field of text, I'm using the iMessage app. You can see now that that menu I showed you earlier in iOS 18 has been expanded to all of these tools here. These are all the AI tools that are involved in Apple Intelligence. So you can do all kinds of things with that field of text when you enter it in. Make a list, summarize. You can change the tone completely. You can proofread, so I'll find all the grammar errors, spelling errors, and do a bunch of things to improve your tone or spelling when you text or write anything. So a lot of people will probably use this in the Notes app when they create large files and essentially complete their writing, make it more professional, or change the tone or whatever you need to make it look better, or maybe even just spawn some more ideas out of it. So as I show you here, this is pretty cool. It does any field of text and you can modify it, change the size. As I showed you earlier, you can make it bold and all kinds of things. So this just greatly expands the capabilities of your writing, and it's all on device. So that's really great. So I just show you a simple example. If you want more advanced, then you can go on YouTube. There's a bunch of others, like in the notes and mail and all kinds of things you could do to improve your writing abilities. So this is the writing tool. It works on any application with any field of text. You just got to go to the Apple Intelligence logo when you start typing to activate this menu. So really awesome feature. I'm pretty sure they're going to expand on this in the future, but for now, this is what we have, and it's already really powerful as is, as I show you how to customize the text even. So that is really cool. So this is the writing tool for Apple Intelligence. Next up is going to be Siri. So as I showed you earlier, Siri gets a whole new facelift, essentially. As you see, I'm showing what happens when you click the Siri button. So Siri can do a whole bunch of things now compared to the past, but it's still not the full version. This is still essentially Siri 1.5. The full 2.0 comes out next month. So for now, it could just do the simple task, as you know, like what's a certain location or what's the weather or all that stuff. It sounds a lot more natural. It doesn't sound as robotic, and it gives you more descriptive details. So you can also make mistakes or stumble or just do more context, and it will be able to understand you and keep up with you, essentially, like any other AI model pretty much. So if you're one person that makes mistakes a lot, like how I'm doing now, it will keep up with you and essentially answer the question that you eventually get out when you do talk to it. And then also, Apple integrated all their documentation for every product they have. So if you need help with how to use the iPhone or Mac or any of that, just ask Siri and it'll actually pull up the official documentation and read it to you and essentially tell you how to use it. And then now I'm showing you type to Siri. So if you don't want to talk to her or you can't, then you can just double tap the bottom of the home screen or any screen and activate the typing feature and type to her to get the responses you need. So Siri did get a major upgrade, and at some point when the 2.0 version comes out, I will do a 1.0 to 2.0 comparison, but this is kind of what Siri can do for now. Next up is the Mail. So Mail gets some of the summarizing features of all the other text. So once again, you can turn this off if you don't want to, but as you can see, it's summarizing some of the messages I got at the top there, and it prioritizes what it thinks you need to know right away, like time-sensitive information like deliveries or any other mail that you get. And then you can also do smart replies. So I tried to demonstrate this on some messages. So it doesn't work with all mail as I show you here. I tried to use it on here just to see if it would read it, and it didn't. So it just depends on the message you get. But you can see right there, all the mail you see has summarizing to make it easier to get through it. So I clicked the summarize button at the top and it summarized all the context below. Now when you click reply, you will see on the keyboard shortcuts there an Apple Intelligence field that would appear, and it will let you essentially smart reply to this email. Now it doesn't show up here because there's not really much to reply to. There's no statements or anything, so it doesn't show up here. So I just wanted to show you that it doesn't work for all emails, but it does work if you pick the right one. So I'm going to leave this email at some point and essentially go to one that does allow it, and you'll see that Apple Intelligence will create a smart reply and allow you to send it. So this is really cool. Once again, it just improves your ability to respond, or if you just need ideas to go off of to make yourself look more professional per se. So once again, you can turn this off if you don't like the summarizing feature or any of that in the settings. But for now, the Mail app does get the typical summarization and smart information. So now we're going to pick an email that allows it. So I'm just going to pick a random email that I think would have it. When you hit reply, you're going to see that it populates at the bottom. As you see it there, it's glowing the colors of Apple Intelligence, and you see there that it suggests a reply for me. So I click it and it fills it in right there. So once again, it's just another really cool feature to help you get through the day a little faster and sound more professional. So this is the tipping of the mail, so it gets a lot deeper than this, but for now, this is kind of what it really does. It just helps you summarize and organize your mail in a better way. Next up is photos. So there's a ton of things in the Photos application that Apple Intelligence does. I'm showcasing the big one here. It's called Cleanup, but there's a bunch of other things, like it will allocate photos to create memories, or basically use a bunch of photos if you provide a description to basically create one AI generated video per se. So if you wanted to type, show me all the memories from summer of 2022, and then it will find all the photos in your albums and create an image. So there's a ton of things that AI does in the photo section. I don't really have much photos on this phone, so I don't really have the ability to generate anything, but just know that that's a thing. You can search for photos a lot better and it'll keep up with context. So if you want to type, oh, where's a blue Lamborghini or any of that, it will find it in your photos and utilize the AI to pull up all the stuff you have. So that's really great. And then I just showcased a cleanup tool. It doesn't generate images. It just kind of replaces the background with whatever you want to get rid of. So it's not perfect, but it's definitely really useful. And then here is the focus mode, reduce interruptions. It uses AI to keep up with you during your day. So it mutes notifications and other things that it thinks you don't find important based on your habits. So it uses AI to essentially allow you to stay busy and keep productive and not distract you. So I don't really set it up properly here, but you can, and then allow AI to keep up with you and keep you from being distracted. It's dynamic, so it'll change based on your habits. So this is their attempt at creating a focus mode using Apple Intelligence to essentially make it easier for you to get through your day without dealing with many distractions, because there's a lot on your phone nowadays. So this is their take on the focus mode, called reduced interruptions using Apple AI. So we'll see if this works out. I'm pretty sure they'll expand it at some point, but that's basically what it does for now. Okay, so now that I've gone over all the iOS 18 features in Apple Intelligence, now I'm just going to do some of the bugs. As you see, if you're on an older phone, definitely update to this. Just because you don't get Apple Intelligence doesn't mean you don't get any features. You get a bunch of bug fixes that are annoying. like the freezing and some touch response issues. So definitely update and take advantage of the new quality of life improvements and bug fixes. And that's basically everything in this update. I hope this helped you a lot. Once again, as more Apple Intelligence features comes out, I would do my best to cover them. So for now, this is all that they offer, and I hope this helped you. If it did, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.